listeners, and welcome to today's episode on the Fashion Fables podcast. Today, I am welcoming Emma, fashion and lifestyle blogger. Emma, thanks for joining me.
Hi, happy to be here, Olivia.
So, let's get started. If you can begin by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got to this point.
Yeah, of course. So I'm 23. I'm currently working my full-time job in social media marketing. So I am working in social media and then I'm doing Instagram and my own blogging on the side. I've always pretty much had a passion for fashion and that whole industry as for the creativity side, I love creating my own content. So that's something I'm currently doing on the side while also working in the social media industry as well.
Awesome. I love that. And as soon as I saw your feet and aesthetic, I thought it was so cute and unique. So, definitely inspiring.
My dog's kind of growling in the back. Sorry.
It's okay. So, what inspires you to create your content, and where do you find inspiration for your blog?
Yeah, content creation inspiration. I would say growing up, I always kind of had more of a vintage aesthetic and feel. My mom was super into antiquing and just taking me along with her. And then I was also very much into like Disney princess movies. So I think that has a big role in kind of the aesthetic that my feed has and whatnot right now. It's a little more like that vintage feel. So, yeah. And then I would say in general, my inspiration also comes from Pinterest when I'm feeling stuck. We love a good look through Pinterest. That always helps as well. And yeah, when it comes to actually creating the content, I would say the location and the actual outfit have a huge indicator in kind of the vision that I have for creating whatever the post is going to be, along with the brand and kind of what the brand's feel is as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like when I go on your account, it feels like very fairy tale, and that's I love it. I feel like it's very dainty and stuff like that. So I totally understand where you get your ideas from and stuff like that. And I think that I asked this question to a few of my guests, and a lot of them do say Pinterest as form of inspiration because I don't know, I really agree because I always use Pinterest. I won't even be looking for inspiration, and I'll just find it just because I feel like there's so much on there, and you can kind of get so many different ideas and stuff like that, and it just sparks your creativity. And I don't know, I feel like it's this never ending, it's a really great app and platform. So I definitely agree.
Yeah, exactly. You scroll through there and it's just like never ending, just beautiful pictures. That's what I love about it. It's so funny too, because I remember having a Pinterest like years and years and years ago, and it was such a big thing. And then it kind of like went off. And then I
Mhm.
feel like people really got back into it. It's just like Pinterest, you can never go wrong with. There's inspo for everything on there. It's great.
Definitely, I agree. So do you have a specific aesthetic for your feed? And feel free to talk about the importance of establishing your personal brand because I feel like it's really important on social media to kind of set yourself apart because there's so many accounts, I feel like. And so what are some, um, things you have to say about the finding your own brand?
Yeah, definitely. We kind of touched it a little bit on just the aesthetic of my account. I definitely agree that I do have one, and I think they're important to have in a general sense, just because it does set you apart when you go into a little bit more of a niche. Because fashion is one thing, but there's so many different directions you can go when it comes to fashion and different styles. And so, just finding what's unique to yourself and kind of building your brand off of that. Like when people think of your name and what are they going to think of? What's the aesthetic they think of? What kind of content are they coming to your page for? And then they might go to another person's page for different kind of content. So I think when it comes to establishing your own brand and sticking to that niche, that's very important. And then also, it takes a while to kind of find what your niche may be. So there's a lot of trial and error in that as well. And I think even myself, I'm like still, playing around with different things sometimes. But yeah, aesthetics are important in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that was great. And I think it's like almost like it's never an ending like thing to find your aesthetic and stuff like that. Because I feel like even when you do have your platform, you're like learning about yourself and what you do like and what you don't like to post, and you're constantly feeling inspired and stuff like that. So I feel like that's one of the nice things about like having an aesthetic in a feed is like you can kind of look at it yourself and be like, is this really representing me? Are there any changes I can make? To kind of just make sure like your account is like the best it can be, and so you continue growing your followers and just like stuff like that. And I think another really important thing is like being authentic with your followers, because that's also very attractive. Because as we've been saying, there are so many accounts, and like to remain authentic and stuff, I think just leaves your followers knowing that like they're not alone, and like you'll, even though you're like another account, there's still a person behind that, and like you're always available. Like if anyone needs like, I don't know, just someone to talk to. And I think that's one of the like most amazing things about having like a platform to like inspire and kind of just be yourself on there.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. The whole engaging part, I think that's a main reason of even having that platform to begin with. You're connecting with like-minded people. People are reaching out to you, like you're reaching out to other people. It's just a good community space to have. And yeah, like you don't just want to seem, oh, I just post pictures and like your life is like picture perfect. It's really cool to like actually interact and talk to the people who are following you, build connections, because that's what life's all about in general.
I agree. What are your go-to fashion staples, and how would you describe your fashion style?
I would say go to pieces. You can never go wrong with either a little black dress or a little white dress, depending on the season. Summer, definitely, I gravitate towards white, and then fall, gravitate a little more towards black. But you can do so many different things, whether it's just throwing a blazer on in the fall or a little cardigan in the summer. And then for something a little more casual, I just love a pair of trousers and then like a staple white crop top, even like a pop of color kind of crop top looks really good. So those would be like my go-to pieces. A white dress. I just think a white dress. Always can't go wrong with that. And then for my own style, I would say I would describe it as pretty modern, but with just a little bit of a vintage twist on it, a little cottage core as well. And yeah, that's how I would describe it right now.
Yeah, I think that I totally agree. I just like staple pieces. I'm really into neutrals, so
Mm-hmm.
I just think that like any neutral can go with like everything, and I totally believe that like it's amazing like learning about people's fashion styles, because I think it's so like specific to that individual and like what they like to wear and what looks best on them and stuff like that. But there is like this like trend of like people saying like the neutrals and just like little pieces that you can throw on. You can put like a jacket over if it's cold, or a scarf, or you know what I mean. So I
Yeah.
think finding those staple pieces and then building onto them can actually make you have like so many different looks. And I think like a big part of fashion is like being creative. Sometimes like you think that you need something else, or you don't have something in your closet, but then like you're like, wait, like I actually have this, and you end up making this like really cute dancer outfit. And like I don't know, I think it's just a matter of knowing yourself and kind of being creative and not just like resorting to like spending money first, because sometimes I do that all the time. And it's like,
For sure. Same, you like find a super
yeah,
cute piece and you're like, I need it, and you wear it literally once.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, for sure, the everyday staples are just such necessities, like those just white, good tanks, those trousers, good pair of jeans, all of that. And then you just build on top of that. You can add pops of color, you can change it for every season. But yeah, definitely, I would agree.
yes. So, do you have any tips on how to adjust appropriately for any occasion and feel your best?
I would say just always wearing something that you feel comfortable in is just such a big factor. Like if I'm wearing something that's a little bit too tight or a little bit too loose and I just feel like, like I'm having to pull my top up the whole day. It's just like something you have to keep worrying about. Then it kind of sucks going to an event because you're doing other things. You don't want to be worrying about that. So just something that you feel comfortable in and that fits you well. And then I would also say, on top of that, you feel more comfortable when you feel like yourself. It's an inward and outward thing. So the more comfortable you feel with who you are inside, when you're expressing that on the outside too, you feel more confident in what you look like and in what you're wearing. So anything that you think kind of expresses your own personality or you feel comfortable in, I think is great for every occasion.
Yeah, I agree. I think that feeling confident and feeling comfortable in what you wear will exude like this like I don't know, positivity to others. And I just think that like when dressing, like sometimes it's better to not overthink it and kind of just not worry about what you feel other people are gonna wear, but more so focus on like how you're gonna look for the event and what's gonna make you look and feel your best. Because I agree, like it's like the worst when you're like thinking about like what you're wearing and you're like pulling it down because like something's like too big or like it's too small and you're like I don't like you're just like constantly thinking of like how you look in it rather than enjoying like the event or party you're at, and that's just like the worst because it takes away from like the fun and stuff like that. And like people will be like, no, like you look fine, but like deep down, like you know yourself and like you just know that like whatever, like so I think that it's just important to find what you look best in and not so like much worry about like other people or what others might think of it.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't agree more. Just being true to yourself, comfortable. Do you, girl? Hot girl summer.
Yeah, so what do you hope to achieve from your account and what is your favorite part about having one?
Yeah, I think with anything, especially Instagram, there's always things that are so up in the air. But I would just hope to achieve maybe someday taking on my own branding full time. I do work in social media, so I'm fully like in that industry. So it can get a little bit of a burnout sometimes when I'm also focusing on my own account.
Mhm.
So just taking it, maybe my own stuff full time and then building from there. Who knows like what the future has to hold. So I just think there's a lot of opportunities with that going forward too. But I would say my favorite part of just having my account in general, we kind of touched on this earlier, but just the idea of being able to connect with other people. I think that's been the most fun for me, is just getting to know like-minded people in the same kind of industry who are working towards similar goals or also just have an interest in what you're doing as well. I just think it's cool because now I literally have friends that I've made on Instagram throughout the whole world, like Sienna, Italy, and then also just different states as well. So I think that's been my most favorite part, is just that connection part, while also freely expressing creatively what I love as well.
I couldn't agree more with like the connecting and actually making relationships over Instagram because I feel the same with my podcast. Just like having
Yeah.
guests account and like just getting to know them and like getting to know like the similarities and differences between my guests, and then like it's just so nice to then like have that like relationship where you feel like comfortable even though like you haven't ever met them, but like you're not like afraid to like reach out to them, DM them, like ask them how they're doing, or if you have like a suggestion or if you like ask them for something. It's almost like this like feeling of like comfort and like safety. And yeah, like I have established relationships with people like internationally in like France and Australia and London, England. Like so, it's just really like a lot of fun. And I feel like once I started, like it's almost like you just want to keep because like it's always great to like always want to like expand your horizons and learn about different people because sometimes we're so focused about like learning about ourselves and stuff like that, but we don't realize that other people can also teach us so much and we can find the similarities um, within ourselves and within them. So, um, yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's just so surprising too how many people are just so welcoming and nice. I don't think I've really ever had a bad experience, and like if you reach out to other girls, they're always like so eager to reach back to you as well and just support one another. So it's such a great environment to be a part of. Honestly, you would think there'd be, I mean, there definitely are trolls on the internet, but you would
Mhm.
think there'd be more, but it's just like people supporting other people, and I think that's amazing as well.
Yeah, I agree. And like sometimes it feels as if social media is just like this rabbit hole of like scrolling and like constant self comparison, but then like you like from our points of view, like from like how like I don't know, just connecting and you know, stuff like that, you see that there's like a really good side to it that can actually like I don't know, like just change your outlook and perspective on life. And I think that's what people should try to like use social media for to kind of find inspiration and stuff like that rather than comparing themselves because like at the end of the day like you are your own person and you should feel confident within and I don't think people care as much as we think they do so yeah.
Exactly. I think it's super easy to compare yourself to other people, or even as a creator, compare yourself to other, sorry,
Oh so cute.
to special guest Oakley, to other people's accounts and whatnot when it comes to like either their growth or the quality of their photos and stuff. But the more you do that, it kind of takes away from you growing in yourself and your own too. So I think just remembering too, like everyone posts their reel of life. They're not posting every single feeling they have or like the things that upset them or the bad days necessarily either. And I don't think you necessarily should, but just keeping that in mind when you are on social media in general is super important because I think people forget that sometimes and think, oh, this person has like such a great life when in reality they're just posting things. Not everything's always exactly how it looks.
Right, exactly. Like sometimes it is a highlight reel, and that's okay because like obviously I'm not gonna post like when I have a bad day and like stuff like that because I don't think anyone would really like I don't know. I don't just don't think it's like appropriate to share every single thing about your life on social media. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that if more people just kind of like understood their worth and like that they do have a place on social media no matter their following, I think things would be a lot like nicer for everybody, and would just make the world like a nicer place in general.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So
God's being a psycho.
thank you so much for coming on. It was so much fun.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.